Shabbat Shalom. You see the Brazilian officer is good. Nice guy. Only in America. This week's Parashat is called Yitro. It's the Parashat of birthday of my two kids, Abel and Ariel's the Parashat when they were born. So this week the Parashat speaks about leadership. Teach us to accept advices, and in different situations we can learn a lot of different things for our lives. Let's start with Exodus chapter 20. After the Ten Commandments, verse 18. Like the last week, I show the verse and you read. 18 to 20.
All the people witnessed the thundering and the lightning, and the sound of the shofar, and the mountain smoking. When the people saw it, they trembled and stood far. So they said to Moses, "You speak to us, and we will listen. But do not let God speak to us, or we will die."
Okay, this is good. What can we learn? What should we learn in this verse? All the people saw it. They trembled and stood far off, and they said to Moses, "You speak to us, and we will listen, but do not let God speak to us." Why?
He was afraid.
The same?
Fair.
Fair. It's easy when we sing songs called "God, I want to be in your presence," but it's different to live in His presence. A lot of people here on the streets, everywhere, they said, "I want to be in God's presence." But when they saw the thunders, they said, "No, you speak to God, I stay here." Because, in fact, they don't want to be in God's presence. Today, he was talking about kashrut in the beginning of the service. A lot of people say, "I want to serve God," but when we say, "You got to do the kashrut," no, that's not good. No. You stay, and I stay here. So it's different. We need to consider about our own life. In the beginning of this service, Rosh Sion was not here, and he starts the service. What do you do? What would you do when the leader is not here?
Amen.
You need to do the service.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
The people of Israel are always accustomed to do the same. We need the leader. Who needs to do the service? The leader. If the leader dies, we die. We all die. Because we are not prepared to do. We are not prepared to preach. We are not prepared to play songs. We are not prepared to sing. We are not prepared to do nothing. That's why they said, "You speak to God. You stay here." God said to Moses, "Sanctify people during 3 days." And the people did not support 3 days in God's presence. How long you support to be in God's presence? This is the first question we need to consider today. You need to consider. How long I can support to be in God's presence? Because to see God's presence is different than to sing about God's presence. I'm not talking about you to sing, but everybody. Everyone can sing, but not everyone can be in God's presence. And to live in God's presence is different. Talking about this, we can go to the beginning of the parasha. Exodus 18. in this parasha, we have some situation different. We never seen in the Torah. It's not a regular situation. Chapter 18, sorry. In verse 1, you're going to read the verse and you will consider about the verse, okay? Verse 1.
Now Jethro, the priest of Midian, and Moses' father-in-law, heard about everything God had done for Moses and for his people Israel, and how Adonai had brought Israel out of Egypt.
Okay. What we learn in this verse? What we can learn? Jethro, the priest of Midian, heard about everything.
Right.
What do you learn? What you can say about this verse? Jethro was part of Israeli people? No. Who told about the God to him?
Moses.
No. Fame. Jethro was not with Moses. So, far away from Moses, Jethro knew about God. What God has done in Egypt. So, if you don't say, people will never know.
Amen.
We always talk about the leadership. The leader needs to preach, make videos. We need to make videos. Today, YouTube is a blessing to all of us. I always say that in Brazil. YouTube is a blessing because it's free. We can express the message to the world. But all we need to do is make videos. But who needs to make the videos? The leader. We always need the leader. Why don't the women teach? They could teach the other women, but they don't do it. So, how Jethro could learn, heard about God? Somebody, to Jethro.
Yes. Testify.
Testify. We all need to testify, not only the leader, not only the leader's wife, not only their kids, but all of our kids, all of our people, all of us. We all need to testify. So the message will came to Jethro and through the leaders and to Obama and through the leaders, Trump, Netanyahu, Bolsonaro in Brazil. They need to learn to hear about our God and about our faith. Now in Brazil, the new president has created a new law considering about the Shabbat, and all those who keep the Shabbat don't need to work, don't need to go to the school. They just need to sign a document and say, I believe in Shabbat and it's God. Why the new president, new Brazilian president made this? Because he saw a lot of Brazilian people keeping the Shabbat, including the Adventists, but including all Jews. But he's approaching to the Jewish people, and then he says about the Shabbat. But because he knows about the Shabbat, why somebody told to the president.
Remember the little maid? Remember the little maid in Syria? She was taken a captive in Syria, a little girl, a maid, for Naaman.
Yes,
Naaman's maid.
yes, that's it.
And she testified about the God of Israel. And there is a prophet in Israel that can heal his leprosy. She.
And even the king of Israel says, why are you trying to fight against me? Because the king of Israel doesn't believe in God and in his prophet.
So true, Moshe.
So we need to testify.
Amen.
Verse 2.
Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, had taken in Moses' wife Zipporah, after he had sent her away with her two sons.
Okay. What do we learn here? Leadership is something to do alone, by yourself. You don't consider, people normally don't consider about this. But a few weeks ago, Sion was in Brazil. His family was here. And the leader, to do his job, he needs to stay alone. And people need to respect this, to consider this. Because every day, when you return home after work, you return to your home, your wife is there, your kids is there. But sometimes you need to consider, I'm here, but my leader is without his family. And you need to pray for him.
Amen.
You need to support his family.
Amen.
Jethro supports his daughter.
Yes. Amen.
That's why Moses was
Yes.
able to do his job.
Amen. Hallelujah.
If you support the leader's family,
Amen.
you will support his job, his
Amen.
work, and we will be able to testify God's presence in our lives.
Amen.
So, people normally just look at the fame of the leader. See, my leader is in Jerusalem. Now he's in Brazil. Now he's going to Africa. We're going to Namibia. So my brother went to Africa some years ago. Not for a congregation, but his job. He went to Nigeria. Stayed there for 1 year. He's white, obviously. He's white, and all people black. He was working on the streets, making the line for the telephones. He has his driver, and then when my brother said, I want to take a picture in this street, his car needs to stay turned on. The driver's on the line. He opened the door, take the picture, and return the car. Because he was afraid. Some bar was trying to kill Brazilian people. So, people look at just see the pictures. As a lot of people here in Brazil, now in Brazil, they're looking to my pictures at Universal. It says, see, the leader at Universal, spending money, rich, and then. So, during these last 2 weeks, we didn't went to a restaurant because it's really expensive. So, to buy a hamburger, kosher hamburger, is $25. For me, it's too much. So, we're getting fit. My wife says, oh, you are beautiful. Because we don't have money to spend with food. So this people doesn't see in pictures. So people will see Sion in Namibia, in Brazil, oh, pictures, spending money. So they don't consider the work that they are doing. And Jethro, as a priest, he knew what Moses needs. You need to support your leader all the time. Verse 5.
So Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, came with his sons and his wife to Moses into the wilderness, where he was encamped at the mountain of God. He had told Moses, I, Jethro, your father-in-law, am coming to you, along with your wife and her 2 sons.
Okay, good. Moses was in the wilderness. Leadership, sometimes we fail in the same place. Jethro knew about this situation, and Jethro came with his family. What Moses did when Jethro came? Verse 7.
So Moses went out to meet his father-in-law, then bowed down and kissed him. They asked each other about their welfare and went into the tent.
What Moses was doing before this?
Serving the people.
Serving the people. When Jethro came, Moses stopped and entered into the tent with Jethro and his family. What we need to consider about this? What you need to consider? It's easy when we say all the words, huh?
Yes, yes.
But you need to consider.
That's right.
When we think, we learn.
Yes.
Verse 7. What we learn in this verse? About Moses. Humble? No.
He honored his father.
Honor,
Respected the father.
respect our
And
father.
take care of his family. Make time for his family.
Make time for the family. Sometimes we have a lot of work, wherever, in congregation, in your job. You need to make money to live. But you need to take time to your family. We all need to take time. In Brazil, and even here in America, you see people in the streets. We went to Orlando Magic game last Shabbat after, and then close to the stadium, a lot of people living on the streets. And if you don't take time to your family, your kids will see the situation, and sometimes they will not consider, but they could be one of these persons. If you don't take time for them. In Brazil, we used to say, if you don't take time to your family, the drugs will take time for them. They will spend a lot of time with your kids. And when you look, there's no time. So Moses knew what was really important. It's important to take care about all the people, yes, but it's important to take time to your family. That's why I'm here with my two kids. Maybe next time with my wife, my daughter, but it's important for me to take time with my two boys. Father needs to take time to know what their needs, all their needs. Because when I was young, when you was young, the needs used to be different. Now, a lot of parents in Brazil used to say, see, the kids now, during all the day in the telephone, cell phone, using telephones, WhatsApp, all day, all time. So, why the parents say this? Why? Why you say this to your children?
Because we did not have that. We didn't have that before.
No. Yes, but it's not good.
Bonding with them, they will put down the phone.
Okay. Shirley?
Now, if we take in that time that they have the phone to interact and bond with them, they will put the phone aside.
Because the world today is different than the world 20 years ago, 30 years ago.
Yeah, we did not have these things.
20 years ago, 30 years ago, 30 years ago, when I was young, kids could walk on the streets during all day. At 7 in the morning, I used to go to the school and return 10 at night home. Spend all day in the streets with my friends because there was no dangerous. no traffics, no drugs, nobody killing the kids. So now it's safe to our children to stay at home. But what would they do during all day inside home? Use the cell phone. Because they need to talk with their friends. When I was young, I used to talk with my friends going to their homes. And they came to my house. But now, in a different situations, different place, it's different. It's dangerous. So we need to consider this. So we don't need to complain against our kids. We don't need to say, you just stay in the phone. Go to the streets. If they go to the street, maybe they cannot return. And we don't consider about this. Here, I don't know the United States, but as we see in Brazil, it's a racist country. So, a lot of policemen goes, stop your car just because we're black. So, sometimes your kids are not prepared to answer to the policeman. So they get nervous, and the policeman says, "Why you are nervous? You are doing something wrong. You're going to jail." This happens. When I go to Israel, every time I go to Israel, I said to Brazilian people, those who goes with me, they've never been in a different country, don't look to the policeman. Why you are afraid? Why do you have fears of police? So, what they do, when we just arrive in Tel Aviv airport, and the policeman look at me, what are you doing? There's something wrong with you. And they just speak Portuguese, and the police says, in Hebrew or in English, are you afraid? No sei, o que é? If I speak in Portuguese, there's something wrong. And then they send you back to Brazil. This happens with me in the first trip, when I went to Mexico, 18 years ago. I just arrived, first time in a different airport, a very big airport. And then I look, there's something wrong with you. You'll return to Brazil. And then the policeman said to me, how much money you have? And then I said, $100. What, to spend here in Mexico, $100? Yes, but my father is still here. He's already here in Mexico. So no, with $100, you cannot enter. And then I start to learn how to deal in different countries, different situations. But we need to learn about this, and we need to consider about our children, to take time, to spend time with them, to teach them how to deal with different situations. Because if they don't grow, there will always be a kids for us, children for us. As a father, you always look to Jado, to all the children, like children say, "Sarah, you are so big, but you are still my baby." And we don't teach them how to deal with the life. And we have a lot of challenge to do. Verse 9.
Jethro rejoiced for all the goodness that Adonai had shown to Israel, delivered them out of the hand of the Egyptians. Jethro's...
No, just 9. Just 9. What we learn here? What do you learn here? Verse 9.
Jethro was happy, he was rejoicing for what Adonai did for Israel.
Yeah, this is what is written.
Yeah.
It's obvious. You need to learn to say.
I think, in my own opinion, I think that Jethro, he loved the Israelites
Beloved the Israelites.
because of what Moses was married to his wife, and he was a good man to him.
Okay. But it's not this.
That's not what you're looking for.
Yes.
He started to praise the God of Israel.
No.
That?
No. Are you ready to be happy about others people?
Amen.
Rejoice with them.
Amen.
Because it's easy to be happy with my children. But can you be happy with somebody?
Amen.
Because people doesn't like this. If you buy a new car, wow, she has a new car. Why don't I have one? Why don't you? Oh, good, it's great. Let me see your car. Let's take a picture together. God blessed you.
Amen. Amen.
But people doesn't learn how to do this.
Rejoice with them that rejoice.
Rejoice. Rejoice. Because if you are able to be happy with another people, with blessing to another one, they will be happy with you. When you have a new car, when you have a new baby, find your husband, a wife, wherever, you'll see God's blessing these people. This is good. This is great. And we need to consider about this, to be happy with another one.
It's true.
Even in the small situations. Even in small situations. Because when you find a new job, when your kids go to the school for the first time, when it's their birthday, this week was Adele's birthday. 23. So, see, Adele, what's the price for 19 years old? His father bring him to Orlando. So you need to be happy. We need to be happy because we changed. He finished his studies and to graduate the party at the end would spend about $2,000. And we decided to spend $2,000 coming to the United States. It's the same. We don't like parties. And especially in Brazil, the food is not kosher. You cannot dance with the Gentiles. It's just to spend money. But it's okay. Everybody needs to consider rejoice in others people.
Amen.
Because if you just look at the people and say, see, he has money, see, he has this, he's blessed, and I'm not blessed. So God will not bless you, never. Because you don't deserve, we don't deserve blessings. If you consider the other people life and says, he's so blessed, I'm nothing. It's better to be happy, to rejoice the other people.
Yes.
And that's what Jethro did.
Yes.
Moses leads 600,000 families, men. And during 40 years, these people only complain against Moses. Oh, this is Moses. So, what Miriam, the sister of Moses, made in the last parashat? they just crossed the sea, and Miriam started to sing and dance, and all the women came with him.
Yes.
When we are happy with all the brethren, some English words is not my tongue is you all need to learn Portuguese. It's better. It's better.
Brethren.
Brethren. That's it. When I need to say this word, you say. Okay? So Miriam starts to dance, and all the
Brethren.
dance together. Okay? We need to walk together, to live together, to stay together, to support together, to keep this our time together. Our children need to stay together with other children in the congregation. I could spend more money and came with all my family to Orlando, but always during all days when we are here, we think about other Brazilian people in the congregation. Their children need to have the same opportunities. We are happy to be here, but all the families could be here together. But we all need to work for this. We all need to work to do. Because if you just consider, he has a new car, he has a new something, new house, I can do it. I can do the same. We all can do the same. This parasha speaks about work.
Yes.
Moses bring the people of Israel out of Egypt. It's a lot of work, huh?
Yes.
A lot of work. But what I've learned here in Universal is if you work hard, you will have great success. But Moses worked with a lot, and he had not so great success. He brought the people from Egypt, but put Israeli people in the wilderness,
Yes.
not in the promised land. And then Jethro came with the advice. That's another situation that we need to consider, to accept. Let's see the verse.
13.
13. Yes, 13. 18, verse 13.
Okay. The next day, Moses sat to judge the people, and they stood around Moses from morning till evening. Keep reading.
Keep reading.
When Moses' father-in-law saw that all he did for the people, he said, "What's this you're doing to the people? Why sit by yourself alone, with all the people standing around from morning until evening?" Moses answered his father-in-law, "It's because the people come to me to inquire of God."
Okay. Wasn't good what Moses was doing?
Yes,
It was good, huh?
it was good.
It was good. But sometimes we are doing good things to our people, but we can do better.
Exactly.
We can do better. During this vacation, I tried to learn in all situations. Some weeks ago, I was watching a video, an internet video about Disney World. They have a park here, huh? And then a Brazilian person who came to work in Disney, he decided to change, and he brings an idea, a new idea to the leaders, and Disney makes a lot of money with this. What happens? People came to Disney here. A lot of women came with their girls dressing princess clothes. They made their clothes. And he saw in the line a lot of girls using the same clothes. And then Disney starts to sell these clothes. After this, one idea made Disney much more money. And at the Universal, everywhere, every roller coaster we did, after we go out, there's a store about this. And then you feel like a Superman, like a Superman is not this
Superhero.
Superhero, like a Spider-Man. And then you start, because it makes in your mind this, and then you spend money. It makes Universal much more rich. What Moses was doing was good, but Jethro came and said, "This is better. You can do better, and we all can do better in our lives. We all can do better. We all can create something new in new situations." In the world, people used to say, America, the land of opportunities. We all have new opportunities every day to do something new, something greater, something better. Last Shabbat, we was here during the afternoon talking about the website. You can do this, we can do this, we can share together information in English, in Portuguese, in Spanish. And many people will see our website and say, see, they're great. And we all can do better.
Amen.
We can work with the website. But doesn't need to be the same guy every time.
That's right.
With the website, he's working. But with video for new songs, the one can do it. With something for the ladies, we can make videos for the ladies. In Portuguese, for example, there's no video for women. So my wife starts to do it. And her videos has much more views of all mine. So I study at this, and then she make videos very simple with her cell phone. Say this to making halal, to light the candles. This is the way to do it. So thousands videos, thousands viewings. So women can do it. They can do better. We can do better. And that's what Jethro came to bring more light to Moses' life. We can make light to different people. We can spread the message. You may consider a way to spread the message. A better way. You may consider a better place to bring people. Because when I came 3 years ago, 2 years ago, when I came, it was only Sion's family here. And we use it downstairs room. Maybe next year there's no space here. God bless, there's no space here. So we need to rent a different place, better place, and make people come to this place. But if we need to get to work together, if we work together. So you need to consider this. Sion, you are the leader. I respect you as a leader, but we can do better. We can do this and this and this. We will increase our congregation.
Amen.
To the glory of Hashem.
Amen.
Not about us. It's not about me. It's not about to have more people in my room, in my synagogue. It's not mine. It belongs to God.
Amen.
but we all need to work. Moses leads Israel people, but after Jethro came, Moses learned how to deal with his people, how to work with them, to put these people into the promised land, to share the leadership, to share. This is what we need to do. I have another teaching. Let's return to verse 12. Verse 12.
Then Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, presented a burnt offering and sacrifice to God. Aaron also came along with all the elders of Israel to eat bread with Moses' father-in-law before God.
Who are those who sit with you? This is another thing that we need to consider. To sit, verse 12, to eat bread with Moses. Who are those? Aaron was the high priest. So, who are those who are beside you when you eat? Because it's together is the first time, the first thing that a new couple do it when they get married. Each together represents covenant. Those who are with you. That's why in every situation we do the blessing at the wine, like we are sharing a covenant. So I used to say, if Yeshua or if God look at you during your day, Yeshua would sit beside you, beside your friends. Because, as I said in the beginning, it's easy to sing, God, I want to be in your presence, but it's not easy to live in God's presence. Because God is watching who are our friends. God is watching who are our co-workers, those who work, those who live with us. So, in Portuguese, I have a word. I don't know how to say it in English. It's a palavrão.
Alex, you can help us there? Say it for her to hear.
Palavrão.
Palavrão.
Não sabe? Let me
You can
just Google
translate.
it. Bad language. Swear words. Something like that.
Bad language.
A curse or foul language.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
When the people belong to the Church of God or any church, they used to take care about their words. But when they became to Judaism, they changed the way to live. They start to dance. This is good. They start to dance in God's presence. They start to sing better. They start to drink wine. This is not so good. To drink wine is good, but to drink the bottle,
Whole bottle.
oh,
Excess.
it's too much. So we are not prepared to do in a medium level. When you don't drink something, you will never drink. But now I will start. You drink a lot.
Yeah. No moderation.
Yes. So, bad language. In Portuguese, when people belong to a church, they don't have these words in their lips. But now I'm a Jew. They start to say, why? Have you ever seen Yeshua saying words like this? When you go to school, I know it's hard for the youth because they need to say the same words to become part of the group. But who told you that you need to become part of this group? Those who drink, those who say bad words, bad language, you don't need to be part of this. It's better to have one friend, one good friend, than to have 200 friends doing bad things. This is what we need to consider in this parasha. And we have much more, but I don't know time. Last time was 30 minutes, huh?
You have time. If you have more to share, you can go.
You can go?
Yeah.
Okay. Another lesson with Moses' life. About leadership. We all knew the advice that Jethro said to Moses. So let's go to Numbers chapter 11. Verse 27. This verse shows that Moses really understood Jethro's advice. 27 to 30.
A young man ran and took Moses and said, Eldad and Medad are prophesying in the camp. Joshua the son of Nun, the assistant of Moses, since his youth, cried out and said, Moses, my Lord, stop them. But Moses said to him, Are you jealous on my behalf? If only Adonai would make all the people prophets. If only Adonai would put the Spirit on all of them. Then Moses and the elders of Israel returned to the camp.
See, Joshua was the assistant of Moses since his youth. But and then he said to Moses, stop them. Moses said, no. If everybody prophesies, it was better. You don't need to be the main leader. I don't want to be the greatest, the number one. No. You don't need to be this one. If we learn to share, it will be better for us. And we need to learn how to share. To share our talents, to teach the people how to play keys, guitar, drums. So, if you teach, you can go to anywhere because you have prepared someone to use your place. Doesn't belong to me, this place. Doesn't belong to me to stay here. So, what if Sion is not here for this Shabbat, for the next Shabbat? Someone needs to come and preach. And we need to teach them how to do it. And Joshua doesn't understand this. He was so close to Moses. So close. When Moses comes to the mountain, Joshua stays in the feet. he was the only one who was closer to Moses. And he didn't learn. He was unable to learn. And we need to learn about this. And if you see Numbers chapter 6, the priesthood blessing, verse 23, speak to Aaron and his sons, saying, on this wise you shall bless the children. Aaron blessed the people, not Moses. The high priest and the priests made the sacrifice during all time, not Moses. Moses just showed how to do it. In the beginning, when they made the tabernacle, the first sacrifice Moses teach Aaron. You will do this and this and this, and then Aaron takes time and starts to do it. And we need to learn how to do it. And when we learn, we need to be prepared to do it and to teach people. Deuteronomy chapter 3, verse 28. 28.
3.
3.
But commission Joshua and encourage and strengthen him, for he will cross over before this people, and he will enable them to inherit the land that you will see.
See? Sometimes, how do I say? Does not seem fair. Moses brings the people into the entering of the promised land, and God says, Joshua will go. You stay here. You will just see. And what we need to consider in these words is we should be happy in just seeing the promised land. Because in the resurrection, in the future, we all gonna enter into the promised land.
Yes.
But we need to prepare our children to keep the way, to continue. And then they could be live in the end of times,
Yes.
putting the people in the promised land. But as Paul the Apostle says, the crown belongs to me.
Yes.
I'm gonna die. But you keep doing the service.
Amen.
We all need to share. Since the beginning of this portion, we need to learn these three situations. We all need to spread the message, to share. We need to take time to our children, and we all need to prepare them to enter into the promised land. Even if I die before Yeshua comes, my crown is prepared for me. I need to prepare my children to have their own cross. That's it.
Amen.
Shalom.
Hallelujah.